We're here at AALL. I've learned that. And who am I speaking with?
Hi, I'm Michael Sander. I'm the CEO and founder of Docket Alarm.
And what's Docket Alarm?
So Docket Alarm is an entire docket research system. We hook into hundreds of courts across the country, actually probably thousands at this point, and grab docket data and documents across all these different jurisdictions. We analyze them, we get them to attorneys properly, and really it's just a fast and easy way to deal with state and federal court information.
And probably skip the best part. How did you get started in this?
Sure. So I actually got started when I was still working in my law firm. I remember we got assigned a case, and there was something like 20 different defendants in the case, and we had a paralegal going to check the court docket every day for 20 different companies, 20 different cases rather, and every day she would do it, and you know, she's a human being. She was a great paralegal, but she was a human being, and there's going to be human error involved in this. And also it just felt incredibly inefficient. And I was actually a programmer previously, an engineer, and I felt the need, I had to start building this thing. So at nights and weekends I started building this, and it initially just could pull docket information. Then I added a search engine. Then I got other people in my firm to start using it. Then we had a few other firms that actually just kind of signed on without any marketing or any sales on my part. And then after that, I've kind of been doing it on my own. It's been almost 2 years. It'll be 2 years in August.
Yeah, I mean, I've heard the story over a couple of beers, but
Yes.
so you're out there scraping the
Yes.
courts,
Yes.
and you're getting not only the docket, but you're getting documents as well.
Dockets and documents, and in some courts that's actually pretty difficult to do. State courts are notorious for making a document access very, very difficult. Oftentimes, law firms have to have physical runners to go to that court and get the documents. We have a lot of tricks up our sleeve to actually get those documents. It's not always free. Unfortunately, sometimes you have to pay for them, but we can actually get them electronically in great quantities.
And I mean, this thing is an incredible amount of work on your part. I mean, you're
Yes.
sitting here in a suit and tie today,
Yes.
but
Yes.
I mean, you're working probably 16, 18 hours a day.
I don't consider it work though.
Yeah, right.
So it's actually, for me, this is it's like a lot of fun. I love being able to integrate into different courts. I love bringing a new court online and just like being able to see the data across thousands or maybe millions of different court cases. That's actually kind of one of the more interesting things. What we're doing is we actually start analyzing the cases, and then you can start pulling out trends. You can see which lawyers are like the big shot lawyers. You can look them up and figure out like how they got to their position. You can start building these stories. I remember we put Oregon online for some reason, and we actually have a huge amount of data in Oregon for whatever reason, including parking tickets, like going down to parking tickets we have. And who's getting the most number of parking tickets? It's going to be the rental car companies, right? So there's a new rental car company, Car2Go. I'm not sure if you've heard of it. They make the small little cars, and you can actually see their rise over the years because you can actually start seeing them getting more and more parking tickets, and they're actually kind of beating out Avis and Hertz. And it's this kind of high-level analytics that you can do on this data that I find really, really fascinating.
We were even talking last night. You'd be able to go through and see, okay, from a diversity issue,
right?
Who was the lead attorney on various cases, per firm?
Per firm. So there's the gender diversity is a big deal,
right?
And a lot of firms, they do put a lot of effort into making a good showing of it. And what we can do is actually look in the court data itself and say, it's one thing to say, hey, we hire X percent of our attorneys, our partners are gender diverse. It's another thing to actually say, look, listen, we have, out of the 2,000 cases we litigated last year, 48% of them were led by female partners as a first chair, and you can actually pull that data right out and see that immediately.
And the first thing, I mean, when you first started explaining it to me, at the Fast Case Ranch the other night, and I'm thinking, okay, this is research, and so I'm thinking of written opinions, which are precedent, and we were talking, that's cool when your case is that way. And then I realized, oh wow, this can be well before we ever get to that point, because you're tracking all of the filings in the docket. And then you have all these documents that are accessible as well.
Right. Yeah, I mean, we try to look for most cases don't get to a written opinion.
Right, very few.
And also, currently, all the cases that are going on right now don't have a written opinion because they're going on right now, right? So, and you can still run analytics on them. We can see who's getting sued. Like in many cases take 2 or 3 years. So if you want to get current data on what's going on now, you have to You can't look at written opinions. You have to look at.
So as a lawyer, I mean, if I'm, like when I was practicing a trial lawyer, I could be out there and say, okay, I want to use this for all different reasons.
Yeah.
What type of cases are going on? Oh my gosh, I found these cases. Now I can find the briefs on those cases.
Right.
I can get all the research that's being done on that issue, or to see how it's being argued. I could see what the judges do in certain courts with these type of cases.
Right.
You're seeing it much, much earlier in the trenches, getting a live view of what's going on in the court.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's great for, the major opinions that come out are like these, the big presidential opinions. There's actually lots and lots of little opinions that come out before those big presidential opinions. Like, are we going to delay trial? Or are we going to have like a summary judgment motion hearing separate from the actual, like, is that like, months before the trial or after, or how does that work?
Right.
This is something that you would be able to pull out very easily.
Oh, it's cool.
Yeah.
Show me the interface. Let's see if we can see it a little bit. I guess we can. Yeah, and you were showing it to somebody before.
Yeah, so, this is just the search interface here. We're looking, someone was asking about Puerto Rico. We pulled that up, but I just kind of want to point out, a lot of the different courts that we have, obviously all federal, bankruptcy, we have some patent specialized courts, and then a ton of state courts. Not a ton. We have 13 state courts, which is, but we got New York, Texas, Florida, California, and a variety of other ones.
You're picking up about 40% of the action right there,
yeah.
or more.
Yeah, actually, and that's how we do it. I mean, even LA itself, I think LA is like got 3 or 4% of the population in the country, just like there.
Right.
So that's just by itself. But so then you can search and pull dockets. Here we're looking in Puerto Rico.
Then when you open up a docket, or a case, what do you get?
Well, we can get everything. Here, actually, this one's already open. So let me just pull that up. Here's a Texas State Supreme Court case that someone was asking us about. And so we have, first of all, the docket sheet that you can see here. And then we actually have the documents underneath, so we can actually download them, or we can download them in bulk. We can search for them. Here's some motion to seal. Whoops, that's a motion to seal. We can click into that. We get little snippets, and then the actual PDF will appear. But what's interesting is we can actually start analyzing these PDFs. That's the higher level analytics that we're doing. We actually go into the PDFs. We'll actually scan the PDFs in, pull out actual features from them. And then we can start doing really interesting things. So this is the higher level analytics. What we'll start doing is we'll say, hey, what is this? Is this a little small decision on, I don't know, a motion to dismiss or something like that? Was it granted or denied? Then we can look at who the judges were in that case. Who are the law firms? Who are the different parties? Then we can start putting together win rates for the different judges and parties and different companies. And like here, we have some up here. Here, this is a good one. These are actually doing for individual attorneys. So here we actually have a list of, we're looking right now on the Patent Trial and Appeal Board, a list of a number of the top attorneys. This is Steve Bachman. I'm going to give a call out to him. He's a great guy. He's at Paul Weiss. He's actually been a very, very early supporter of Docket Alarm. And actually he...
so these are the top attorneys per filing on a particular subject?
In a particular court. In a particular court. And then if you kind of go over to the right, you kind of see how often these certain types of motions are won by each of these attorneys. And so you can.
What's the?
So these are. We can click into it. I'm happy to. Let's look at Steve's.
Okay.
So there's 2 major motions that we're analyzing here, although we can analyze many more. You can see how often he wins institution. Institution is kind of an initial type of decision that comes out. So he wins that 84% of the time when he's actually trying to get that to be won, and then when he's on the other side, he actually he prevents them from happening about 40% of the time. So his numbers are actually very, very good for this court.
You're just cutting right to the chase.
Yes.
So I can go right into the data.
Yes, exactly. And then the beauty, not only do we have this data, like we show you, all this data is entirely exportable. Like there's little export buttons that you'll see everywhere. And then you can actually go even further here.
And you're seeing the parties too.
So these are all his clients.
So you're looking for Steve and you're going, okay, 43 proceedings for Apple.
Yeah. So
31 for Samsung.
Yeah. So Apple gives a good amount of his work, and Samsung does as well, and a lot of other ones. Liberty Mutual actually was, I think, an earlier client of his. But he had a lot of insurance cases there. Some gaming companies, and you can pick up.
Who built the interfaces for all this? You.
Yeah, I built the interface for this. Yes.
So you not only you did the development work, but you did the user interfaces for all this stuff personally.
The design, actually, I put I actually kind of split my time up into thirds, I'd almost say. 1/3 is getting the underlying court materials, getting those dockets. Another third is kind of putting together this advanced analytics, like trying to get like the data and kind of a lot of the data science. But a solid third of my time I put into ease of use, making it user-friendly, making it beautiful, making it fun to use. I find, if it's a clunky old system, it's just you're not going to like it.
Right.
So, I want everybody to like. I like it. I love just like clicking around in these things. So.
No, it's fascinating, and from my perspective, and there's other legal tech entrepreneurs, and it's getting easier for people to do stuff because the costs aren't so prohibitive anymore with the technology. You have done this yourself.
I have. And
I mean, it's not like you went out there and dreamed up this idea, had it in stealth, and went out and raised $8 million to put this thing together.
Nope.
It's you.
This is a self-funded startup. I was doing this while I was still an associate.
Right.
And running your own startup is extremely difficult. Being an associate at a large law firm is very, very difficult, but doing them both at the same time is just, it's very, it wasn't easy.
It's really, really impressive. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you, Kevin.